All right, Shalom Israel. Make sure the camera is good. We're focusing. We are focusing. All right, that ain't bad. Again, we still got the two glares on there, but work around that. All right, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latam Bashem, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Coincidentally enough, that's exactly what we're going to be going over, is the greetings for the brothers and for the sisters. We're the ISUPK, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are led by Commanding General Yana. We are not affiliated with any organization or any individual identity crisis that people are having out there. To make it, I guess, short and concise, we stand alone in this, in the sense of being a fixed organization, rebuilding the nation, and not compromising, not compromising. Like, listen, if I were to get like kidnapped, held for hostage, like that's it. Like, we ain't compromising on nothing. You're not gonna squeeze us for any money, not even a penny. Like we're going all the way with it. You know what I'm saying? It's that hard line of an operation here. So we are coming to you live. I actually became a Milwaukee LASHAWAN QADASH class. I know we're starting a little bit late with the work schedule, kind of conflicts and overlaps here. Probably going to be pushing this back to about 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll still be doing it every Friday, but look for 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for Milwaukee, UPK, LASHAWAN QADASH. So today we're going to be going over the greetings. Simple concept. And in today's age, and we'll get into it with the considering the words that we use too, to try to alleviate some of the stresses that we carry in our neighborhoods, in our communities, at work. You know, like I mean, how many times have you seen friction at work and people, bumping heads, getting into arguments, getting into fights? It gets escalated real quick, very unnecessary. A lot of these arguments that pop off, it's all it would take would be another conversation. It only starts with a conversation. It might start with a physical offense, stepping on somebody's shoes, accidentally bumping into them, knocking over a coffee cup or something like that, and again escalates very quick and very violently. So there's an appropriate way to de-escalate that, and a lot of that just starts with just kind of greeting each other, and when we see each other passing by, because again, a lot of times in your neighborhoods you're gonna see the same people. You're gonna see the same people. You might not mess with them like that, which is fine. I mean, you ain't gotta be everybody's best friend. That's okay. That's okay. Like if you're having a barbecue, they're having a barbecue. You ain't gotta merge the barbecues. Um, but there's a lot of differences between us as a people that are petty, that are immature, that are very childish, that are unnecessary and superficial. If you look at the gang culture, especially the gang and drug cultures, especially, you're gonna see how it's just a matter of what side of town you were raised on, or that you coming from. You might not have been born on that side of town. You just happen to have to move to that side of town. Because of your parents' situation, convenience, finances, school districts, zoning, whatever it might be. And now you are thrown into this world that you weren't. I mean, you didn't call for it, but that now all of a sudden that's your reality. So having to deal with each other in kind of close knit quarters, dense populated areas, the inner cities, it's incumbent upon us as the adults to de-escalate the tension that we're damn near born into in our neighborhoods. So a lot of times, like when we're out there, the UPK, when we're out there, we try to engage with the people, despite how we might look. It's the presentation. The presentation is kind of key. the way you approach people, the way you interact with people, to get them comfortable with you, and to bridge that gap, and get the familiarity going. It's listen, I'm socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. So I might not be the first one to kind of run up and say hello, but when we're at like a function, an event, we try to throw ourselves out there to let them know, like, listen, this is, it's a free event, family friendly event. It's a peaceful event. It's a secured event and environment. We got our own security detail, and it's I don't want to trigger anybody, but it's an environment where you can let your guard down. You ain't got to be so uptight about shit. It's like for the language, but where you can try to relax a little bit more, breathe a little bit easier, knowing that you're in an environment that is protected, that takes you into consideration, which is something that as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we don't get a whole lot of that. We really don't. If any, small doses, and that's cool for the people that are trying and people that are sincere about it too. You got a lot of people that'll spin you a web, but they don't follow through on the words that they're saying, or they don't really have they've got ulterior motives. It's not genuine. So listen, man, shout out to Commanding General Yohana for the standard that he set, and the seven heads that came before him that really put us up on game. Not just our history and culture, but how to engage with each other. So these greetings are vital today. It's very simple. We got one standard in UPK for the brothers, one standard in UPK for the sisters. And if you ever seen our classes at the end of it when we do the security announcements, you'll see, especially for that cleansing kind of period when they first come into the school, 90 days, like, dog, that's let them grow. Let them shed themselves of the world and let them grow. And from that point, it's appropriate to just only salute them. Unless like the teacher or the camp leader, if they're engaged with them in class or something like that, that's a different story. That's up to their discretion. But for the rest of the brothers and sisters that are fresh coming into it, or have been here for a while and are witnessing new brothers and sisters coming back home, not just into the truth, but coming back home. You know what I mean? It's important. It's vital to give them that breathing room so that they don't feel overwhelmed. Everybody. It's like you're in a social setting, but you've got your own. You got like a bubble around you. And it's a point of discipline for that individual as well to not pop that bubble, to not go outside of those parameters and try to engage with other people as well. Just keep it right there. Learn. You're here to learn. You're here to study. You're here to shed yourselves of the world. The rest of the men, the rest of the sisters are here to help fortify that environment so that you are safe and comfortable. So again, these greetings are of the utmost importance because it helps show the intention behind what we're doing, especially with new people that come around. And this is why we are not affiliated with any other organization, because they'll say similar words, but they don't mean it. And you can see that through the actions, through their events, through their history, their reputation, how the masses perceive them and take them in, the interactions that the people have had with them. And again, it has to be that fine line drawn in the sand, because again, you have organizations out there that'll talk about pedophilia, legal. They're going to try to make the argument that biblically you can sexually assault somebody, and physically assault people. That you can. I'm trying to find the right PC words for this. Even other religious sects that sects, sects, religious sects that affirm that in their ideology you can engage in carnal slavery. I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess sex slaves. Sex slaves. I think we're allowed to say that. Slack to the men above me if that's a violation. Um, like Islam, for example. Islam sanctions sex slavery. They sanction that. As told by some of their I guess more prominent figures that are kind of currently out there online and on a couple different pages. We ain't gonna give them no light like that, but according to them, sex slavery is lawful, and because they get they brick of their foundation from the Bible, they're gonna have to say that according to the Bible, it's the same way, which that is the furthest from the truth. And forced intercourse is also lawful according to their ideology. Non-consensual non-consensual relations, I guess, might be an appropriate term. I don't know. I guess either we'll get flagged or we'll find out. So like, if anybody knows, feel free to chime in. But you got a lot of thoughts out there that are inappropriate, and that's why we are here to clear it all up and wipe the slate clean for everybody to start fresh and get the right understanding. So this is why we have all these different classes. And this is also why we got the Passover coming up. Listen, man, the Lord's 55th annual Passover, Durham, North Carolina, April 20th, 2024. Get your money together, get your travel arrangements set ahead of time. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to get stuck in the mud, and you don't want to be unbrotherly or unsisterly and inconvenience other brothers and sisters who are also. I mean, hey, like we ain't rich like that. You know what I'm saying? So, who are also, budgeting to make sure that everything can flow smooth for these events. So don't forget about the Passover, man. Don't forget about the Houston cookout. I believe November 23rd through the 26th. We got Hanukkah coming up December 7th. It's gonna last for about 8 days. So get ready for them classes as well. You got Black Friday coming up. Just grab what you can. Again, we're gonna be doing a class on Black Friday too, to show the history of it. So without further ado, appreciate you bearing with me. A simple greeting that we share amongst each other across the board. I mean, even if you were to just say, put it up here. Shalom. Shalom. That just means peace. So like if you're walking down the street and you see a brother, you see a sister, and again, especially to let them know, I don't want to say more so than not, in times of war or whatnot, but again, in the environments that we live in, the tension that's always surrounding us, to let a brother know that you're coming in peace, to let a sister know that you're coming in peace. You just walking by, y'all walking down the same street, you're about to get on the same bus, you're about to go into the same corner store, same gas station, restaurant, what have you, and just to let them know, because again, you might frequent those spots, and to build that familiarity. Hey, shalom, shalom. Now in the UPK, the way that we would greet each other, it's a little bit more. I don't want to say advanced, but there's more to it than just that. But you can for the common, I guess, interactions. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. So now in paleo, so let me see where we are on the board. See where I can put this. This means peace. Peace. So in the Hebrew, you're going to see is the mic working? Yeah, the mic's working. Shah. You could have centered that too. Well, no. Because I got to show you a couple different things here too. So, shalom. I got slapped. Shalom. So we use these connectors. We got these singular connectors that lets you know that that character gets pronounced by itself. So the sh. And then the plural connectors, or the multiple connectors, I guess you could call it. They'll let you know that that first character and the following character that it gets attached to, that this is the main one that would get pronounced, and then that so-called vowel sound off that second character gets dropped, and it's just that consonantal value that you would pronounce. So sha by itself, do it like this. Sha, la, ma. Shalom. Because those get connected, otherwise it would have been, it's like, now I'm going completely backwards. It wouldn't be shalama because of that connection. Shalom. Now, in the near future, we're going to start going over like prefix, suffix, possessive, prepositions, things like that. Different grammatical like constructs to how our words are built. In English, like there really isn't that. You've got separate words, like completely separate words that will build up the sentence. We've got separate characters that build up the word to help give you the definition of it. That's why this dates so back, and why all the languages that you see that are around today, you can trace all of it back. You've got Shemitic languages, you've got Hamitic languages, you got Japhetic languages that share differences, but going back to the root, the Hebrew, or I guess I should say the LASHAWAN QADASH would have been the oldest surviving language after the flood. So just to kind of show the structure of it, and the more practice that you get with this, you're gonna kind of notice the patterns on what gets connected and what stands alone. And again, we're gonna get into like the prefix, suffix later on, but I want to get just a kind of a normalcy established with the greetings, the prayers, the tribes, the nations, and so that when you're reading it, you'll be more comfortable engaging with it, and you're not going to overthink it. But let's just kind of start off a little simple, and we'll build up from there. So now, shalom. You're going to see variations of it in the scripture. You're going to see this. You're also going to see This almost all gets connected because the way that this gets pronounced is shalom. It's still shalom. You're gonna hear people try to say shalom, but it's still gonna get pronounced shalom. The same way that when you see the tribe of Levi, so now these get connected. La, ya, la, ya, la, ya, lo. It's still shalom. Because it's almost like these would be connected, and almost like these would be connected. But it's that gets pronounced together. And in the Yiddish, you're gonna see all these like dots and squiggly this and that, and they end up using. If you were to go into the concordance, you're gonna see a gang of this with different inflections, different dots, different symbols on it, in attempts to try to give it a different context. It all ends up meaning the same thing. It's got the same root, but all those little dots and dashes, they're going to try to make, to try to make the separation. But it all comes down to peace. It just now the different context that the peace is applied. Peace, as in when we're walking down the street again and catching eyes with somebody. I've been in it myself. Like, you can catch eyes with somebody and immediately you're in a fist fight with them, just because you catch eyes with them. And can't nobody look away, and nobody's gonna be the punk, right? So you gotta follow all the way through with it. Whereas when we come into contact with each other, if we were to just say, "Hey, shalom," shalom, like, you can still be a badass, you can still be a man, you can still be masculine, but respecting that other man's masculinity. Or you could be some big, 10-foot gorilla walking by a little brother, little tiny little brother. It's still peace. Showing them that you don't come to harm. You ain't on that BS, more or less. Which is something that again we're all too familiar with in our neighborhoods. So now again, this is still going to get pronounced the same. It's still going to be the shah. And I don't want to say this is going to be silent, but like the similar to how I keep on saying about like that ha. That ha that comes at the end of the word, a lot of times it's just going to be a breath. Shalom. That was weird. It's still going to be shalom. So you can see that there. It's still going to be pronounced the same. Shalom. 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 It's not shalom. They're going to try to put that added little, effort on there. And again, ask them. People that say shalom, ask them. ask them like the roots, the source of it, of the two variations that you're gonna see in there. Because like visually, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that. When you read it in the text, you could see one of these. Ask them the root, ask them the source, and the pronunciation. So like it doesn't change the meaning of it. They mean the same thing. But again, we're gonna later on we're gonna get into to why things like that get added into words, and why you might see like the same word with the same meaning presented in a different way. Right now, I just want to focus on the greetings. So now that was in the Paleo Hebrew. We're also going to write it down in the Assyrian. And for all intents and purposes, we're just going to focus on that first spelling of it. Because again, in our greetings, like when we're writing back and forth to each other, that's going to be the principle. I'll throw this up in the corner. So that's going to be the principle. So now we're going to write it in the Assyrian. And again, with the Assyrian as well with the Paleo, penmanship aside, again, we keep everything within the same ballpark. You just might write a little bit different than the next man or the next woman. It's because there's only two genders, by the way, now that we're on that topic. There's only two genders. So in the Assyrian, you're gonna see it written out as, and I'll do the other variation of it as well, just to show the characters. But again, these are gonna be the principles, and I'll write. I think. Well, you'll see it. You'll see it. So, shalom. Roughly the same size. Let me see how it looks on camera. Hold up. Yeah, I can live with that. So if you've been watching our previous classes, at the end of the word with the ma, that's the character that you're gonna get. The la, it starts off taller than the rest of the characters, but it finishes in those same parameters. But it starts off up top. Just a little, little hook up there, a little shepherd's crook, so to speak. So shalom. So again, same thing. They're going to add that in there. revisit this topic in the future. It's a lot different than the other one. Okay. Let's at least try to match that. All right. All right, we'll live. So, shalom, 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 shalom. It's still going to be pronounced the same way. So, like, when you see this again in the Yiddish, don't let all those little dots and dabs and dashes and what I can't remember what they call those little marks, but don't let that confuse you and distract you from, again, just like the root of what we're doing. Shalom. You're walking into a store. You're walking into the gas station. You're walking into your job. I mean, you can say shalom to anybody too. Just again, it means peace. Like you come in peace, and just like the way that you present yourself, the context that you could even give it, it doesn't change, what's going on here. Just it could affect the application of it. You could almost be getting into a fight, and before that fight pop off, like, hey, shalom, shalom, salaki, shalom. Like you ain't even trying to take it there yet. But again, we ain't no punks, so if it goes that route, Lord be with you. But we're trying to do everything that we can to de-escalate it. We're going to do everything that we can to de-escalate it. Because our people deserve that. Our people deserve nonviolence. Our people deserve a little bit of peace. I think after hundreds and after thousands of years of war and conflict and stress and strife and tension, I think we deserve a little bit of peace. While everybody else, because they're going to say, slavery and wars have happened amongst everybody, every nation. Fine. Yeah, that's history. Fine. But again, if you really want to get into it, then look at the people who kicked that off. Look at them. And then look at where they are now. Look at who they were back then who kicked it off. And look at who they are now that are still doing the same thing. Or they might be sitting a little bit more comfortable because they already won. They're in that higher seat. So you've got like your Ishmaelites, your Arab nations that are sitting pretty flipping comfortable because of the wars that they've fought and won. The same thing with your, more so the Moabites, so-called Chinese, and a lot of their Asian counterparts that are, again, sitting in a pretty high seat. And of course, your Edomites. Who can forget the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of? Who can forget how comfy they're sitting? And that's why you're going to get all these, soft-hearted, snowflakes running up to you talking about peace and love and let's all just get along, because they've been sitting on a cushion. They've been sitting on a cushion for the longest. All they've known damn near is peace, because they never had to deal with no conflict or strife. They themselves, the people that you go to school with, the people that you work with, neighborhood beefs and shit like that. All right, yeah, little fights on the job. Okay, yeah. As a nation, even if they were enlisted in the military, they're not the ones pushing the buttons and controlling the narrative. Because a lot of them, when they come back, you're going to hear a lot of confessions about, we shouldn't have been in the first place. It was wrong for us to even do that. Peace is what our people need after so long. After battle after battle after battle after battle, unnecessarily, that we've just had to endure and persevere through. We need to show each other some peace. That's what we need to do amongst each other. Now, be peaceable with all men. That's not even how to paraphrase it. Let me try to look that up real quick. Salakia. Give me 1 second. I want to try to. Be at peace with all men. I believe that's how it's phrased. All right, here we go. Romans chapter 12, verse 18. And Hebrews chapter 12, verse 14. So we've got two solid scriptures here that lead into what I'm talking about with this. So you can go to Romans 12 and 18. Let me just open this up. Where it says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, so as best as you can. Again, you ain't gotta be buddy, you ain't gotta be bros, you ain't gotta invite everybody to your barbecue, you ain't gotta be on the same bowling team with everybody. But if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, maybe you're a hermit, maybe you're kind of like me, maybe you're a recluse, maybe you're an introvert, and you don't really want to be out there and engaging with everybody and trying to, maybe you're just not good at it. But if it be possible, because anything's possible, right? With the Most High, anything's possible. I want to be more social. Me personally, I want to be more social. I want to engage with with my people more. I'm just, I don't know. As much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. With all men. Now, this is one of them phrases where you can take this to that context of, like all people. Whereas, again, when they talk about, like, John 3:16 and things like that, the context, the environment, and conversation that we're having there, it changes. The context changes. But read Romans 12 and 18. Start with that verse. And then we also got, let's say, Hebrews 12 and 14. Where it says, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. If you don't keep yourself upright, if you don't, listen, we are ready for whatever happens. But because of, how would I say, our final goal is this. That's the emphasis. And as much as it can be, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. If you're not putting this into practice, we shouldn't be bank robbers. We shouldn't be drug dealers. We shouldn't be stick-up kids. We shouldn't be gangsters. As far as like the emulation that we take from, especially like what we see in the movies, which has definitely guided a lot of generations. Some of them younger cats, and even my generation too. Like 80s and 90s, the movies that we had seen, the entertainment that was available. the word on the street, like that's what you wanted to be. That's what your father was. Your father was a G. Your father was a gangster. He was a drug dealer. He was, mafioso. He was, whatever. So that's what you end up wanting to be too. But this is our people's end result. This is the UPK's end result for our people, I should say. Because our people don't even know what the hell they want. They're still Catholic. They're still Lutheran. They're still Baptist. They're still agnostic. They're still atheists. They're still potheads. They're still drug addicts. They're still Muslims. So we're trying to bring our people back home. So shalom, that initial kind of bridging of the gap. That's to say, peace. Peace, man. Like, I ain't here for no bullshit, Salakia. I ain't here to fight. I ain't here to cause no problems. I got enough problems of my own. And again, when you take that in consideration, ain't we all dealing with something? Who gives you the right to make somebody else's day bad? Who gives you the right to ruin somebody else's life? Just because your life is ruined. Just because you're doing bad. That's where we fail in brotherhood. We ain't bringing peace to each other. Again, the tension, the conflict. So now, even if it's when the oppressor, the court dates. My wife, back to back. The majority of the time that I get to go up and see her is because we're trying to deal with some of the court cases. And just to show that support, just to be up there with her. It's the so-called white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, we do not need to emulate that, though. We don't need to carry that forward. Which is why these words, the next set that we're going to introduce, is so important. The whole phrase. There's something to it, man. Listen, this life is precious. Give it a little spritz. Give it a little spritz. And we want to see the best for our people, man. Ain't we the coolest? Ain't we the coolest damn thing ever? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, ain't we the best? Like, we ain't even gotta try to open up the Bible. If you just look at life, they've tried to stomp us out so many times, but then they still pull from our culture. Like, we just the coolest damn thing. We the smartest. We the strongest. We got the greatest beards. Got the most beautiful sisters. Can't deny that. Just we've lost that compassion and familiarity with each other. And again, the tensions grow, the stress mounts up. And you're not just dealing with the stress of your job now. You're going back to the neighborhood where you got a petty disagreement with a brother or sister, and now your whole families are at odds. Your children are going to end up beefing with each other. Or even if they end up trying to be cool with each other, you're going to impede on that. It gets messed up, man. It gets messed up. That's why we here again in the UPK and the Commanding General Yana, no affiliation with anybody else, especially the Purple Police, that will tell you to hell with Trayvon Martin. That will tell you we will snitch on you. That will tell you we will get you locked up. That will tell you that if you're a woman, as a man, if your woman ain't feeling it, she ain't trying to engage with you, she ain't trying to give you, not so much try to give you any due benevolence, but no, even that. Even if the conditions just ain't right, and she can't give you no due benevolence, they teach that you can take it from her. You can take it, and it's not sexual assault. You're just exercising your duty as a, well, not even your duty. I don't think they say that, but your flex as a husband. You're exercising your authority as a husband. You can just take it from your wife. No, you cannot just take it from your wife. No means no. In Hebrew and in Assyrian, la'ah still means la'ah. And that's why we are not affiliated with any other organization. Period. Forever. Until they break down and come into the fold. And because they are dragging thousands of Israelites that are sincere, through the mud. And their allegiance is going to be so, it's hell bent on a lie. But check them out if you want to. Come check us out for sure. ISUPK Milwaukee. Doors are open. But so now to get into the full greeting. So we would normally greet each other with shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah to the brothers. So shalom. Stretch that. We can clean that up though. That's okay. I'm not as tall as I'd like to be. Otherwise, this might have worked out a little bit better. I gotta kind of stand on my tippy toes. Don't tell nobody. All right, shalom. Yahweh Ba'asham. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'asham. Yahweh Shai Barak Atah. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Let me see if that gets cut off. All right, I'm kind of a little bit. Let me bring this down just a little bit. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Baraka Thumb. It's like a Barakatah. Raka Thumb is for plural. We'll do that as well. Okay, so peace. Now, for shorthand, we would just say the Most High. So, however people want to try to equivocate it, Creator, the emphasis is the Most High because we've got gods. We're not polytheists, but we've got gods, as is like the term Allah or Allahim. Allah itself just means power, authority, messenger, angel, judgment, king or judge, king, things like that. So this is Yahweh, the Most High Power name. That's just his name, and it's the designation of the Most High Power. Most High Power. So we're gonna save like a little bit of room here to put it in the Paleo and the Syrian. Ba'asham, in the name. And now the inference is in the name of, because then we got Yahweh here. So the Most High, it's like your peace. So now, like, you're not, there's a way to say, like, peace be with you. But when we're just saying peace, like, that's, again, kind of the action of it, or the intention behind it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, peace be with you. Like peace. Like, hey, what's up? Like I come in peace. Ain't here for no drama. What's up? Peace. So peace. And you're doing this in sight of the Most High. In the Spirit. That Holy Spirit. And we'll get into that one also. Again, a little bit down the line. Just kind of work through this. But in the Most High Spirit. Because that's his intention. That's his intention for our people. In the name if we're gonna, all right, let me actually separate this then. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I want to break this down again later. I want us to get like some of the greetings down, and then we're gonna start breaking down like the words and again the prefix, suffixes, and things like that. But since we're already here, ba and ha, the sham name. Sham. Obviously, this is a little bit different to break down for that word, as is the Most High name, than this. Because we can identify some of those individual markers in here that help build up that word. Yahushua. So in English, you're gonna see it's it's Jesus. The world falsely acknowledges as Jesus in English, which would have been Joshua in the New Testament, in the Greek, in the Old Testament, coming from the Hebrew into the English, coming from the Greek into the English. That's how that would have been pronounced. That's how that would have been pronounced. In Hebrew, Yahushua. Rock, bless. And his name also just means like this portion of it, because you're going to see like Jesus Christ or Jesus the Christ, Yahushua Hamashiach. So Savior, essentially. So peace. Listen, Mosai, in the name of our Savior, bless you. If you're talking with one person, you're going to use this form of it. If you're talking to a group of brothers, this is plural. This ends up making this plural. So it's still you, but now you're speaking to a crowd. And this is also masculine. With the ma, this is also the masculine version of it. When we do the greeting that we would give to the sisters, you're going to see the variation of it, and the feminine description, I guess, or the way that you would put it. So plural, masculine. So again, they're both still you. Just one of them is just single. If you're just one-on-one with a brother, versus if if you about to leave the club or some shit like that, and hey, salak yakim, salam, yabasim shabakatum, shabakatum. You're talking to the group, and if you're gonna say it like this, you're gonna be talking to a group of brothers. There might be a like some sisters mixed in with that, so you might switch it up. Hey, just for shorthand, and which is perfectly allotted. People get too built up and worked up on standards that they anticipate are the expectations in the Bible. Because if it's not written in the Bible, you can't do nothing. It's kind of like good for them. Given that old college try, like their effort is noted, their sincerity is kind of there. They're just a little bit more combative than sincere. They just want to be right. Is kind of essentially the point of it, because they don't agree with the UPK, so they just want to be right. So now, like, if I was walking out the spot and I'm shouting out to the brothers, hey, shalom akim, salaki, arawanyam, salam arawanyam, yabashim shabakata, salaki akim, yabashim shabakata. But there was those sisters there, like, just to make it shorthand, barakata, barakatum, for the brothers that you may have missed. And now we're going to say at the end of it, barakathun. So this is going to change from a ma to a na, and that's going to give the feminine plural. So I can still kind of say that, like just kind of like in the motion. I ain't gonna give the sisters this full greeting, but just kind of in shorthand, might pass with that. Hey, it's like, brakatah, brakathon, brakathum, brakathum, just grouping them all together. A lot of it really just depends on, your intention, your context, your approach to it, your application of it. Because the same way that we make our language work today is the same way that we made our language work back then. As like linguistics and people like that go, they want to try to make everything so finite. We listen, look at how we talk. Look at how we relate to one another. Look at the inflection. Look at the again the context that we use. Look at the applications of our interactions, the words that we say amongst each other. We turn that. Listen, man. I guess you just have to be so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian to understand what we're talking about. But it's very flexible in those senses. We got our roots. We've got roots to the words, to the meaning of the characters, which again, we're gonna go deeper into. But don't let unless it's the UPK. Don't let anybody else tell you what the standards should be for Israel. We are the only people on the board, like in consideration for the game, to present it to the world at large and all of their superpowers. You can't bring them purple police to them superpowers, trying to bring them to the table for negotiations and not get screwed over ultimately in the end. You can't rely on them. You can't rely on dudes in bed sheets, so-called sackcloths. Pause. Who teach that you can, little girls are fair game. You can't do that. And again, the purple police will say, listen, your wife is fair game too, no matter what she says. It ain't gotta be consensual. You can do whatever. That's them. That's what they teach. It's in their classes. Their leader says that. Nasty Nate, go look that up. Nasty Nate of the Purple Police. We don't, because the Bible don't. Our records, our scriptures, our cultures dictate that you do not behave in that manner. So we don't behave in that manner. And if any brother or sister were to cross that line, they get dealt with in the school. And I ain't talking like, they get dealt with. Just, we take them to counsel. We give them, how do you say, reconditioning. It's, maybe they got to go through some classes. Maybe they got to hear a couple other scriptures. They got to get some type of, education on the points that they're missing in life. Which is where greetings like this come into play so powerfully, because it illustrates your intention. Listen, peace, brother. May our power, may the Most High power, in the name of our King, our Savior, bless you. Like if you live that life, like that's a heavy greeting. Listen, shalom, peace, brother. It's in my prayers, it's in my heart that the Most High. Listen, I pray that the Lord bless you in the name of our King. I pray that the Lord bless you in the name of our King. That's kind of how you're saying it. And again, I don't want to say you can just kind of flip it back and forth and shit like that, but again, the way that our language has flexibility to it now, it had the same flexibility to it then. You can play with it. You can play with it. Just get into the classes, the LASHAWAN QADASH classes, and we're going to start showing you like how these get built up. Why this means that. We're going to talk about it. Why this means that. Because again, we got like the phonetic Let's bring that part out now too. So when you get into when you write it down, right? So shalom, right? Found it. So now a tha, again, we're gonna have two different variations of this. I think you should all be able to fit on the screen. So a tha, and then a thumb. Gotta put this in the Syrian as well. Shalom. Yahweh. Basham. Yahushua. Right back to the slide, to the paleo. Right there. Let's see how that looks on the computer. Okay. All right, so we can So pretty much read everything on here. It might be hard to kind of tell the color difference in between the blue and the green. So you got this. This is green here. That's blue. If you're familiar enough with the Paleo versus the Assyrian, you'll be able to tell the difference in between the words. Just kind of put them together like this is, one. That's the other. This is the Paleo. This is the Assyrian. Paleo, Assyrian. You know what I'm saying? So just you can see how that would get written out. So I'm going to erase this, and then I'm going to do it in the Paleo a little bit bigger. And maybe even in the Assyrian, bigger too. Just kind of even it out. We'll throw in those like connectors. Just to see how it gets pronounced. The letters that we're using here is just to give the equivocation in English. Damn, that looks like an I. It's AHTHAH. This is not an I. It's just a scratch on the board. I would have looked at that like that's an I. That's exactly what the flipper looks like. All right, no sweat. The English characters or letters, like they're not even characters, because if you were to ask anybody like American English, like what's B mean? It means buh. It means bub. It means beh. That means ruh. R. That's what that means. In Hebrew, that meant something. That's why we had that pictographic culture, and even with the Assyrian, we still, I guess it just wasn't as in your face, like caveman drawing kind of thing, as they might want to look at, just because of the simplicity of it. But like if you look at the relation, like the Ba and the Ra here in the Paleo, like they are very close to each other. In the Assyrian, the Ba and the Ra, they're in that same neighborhood. They really are. So I mean, just the evolution of the written style. You don't want to get lost with the Yiddish. You're gonna see these characters, but then again, there's gonna be all these dots and like those, whatever asterisks around it. Don't let that deter you or confuse you from the root, from the source. And if you want to know what the root and the source is, just get in the class, man. We got class all the time. All the backup videos that we got, you ain't got no excuse but to see a class. You can watch classes for like now to the end of your life. There's no shortage. And covering different topics throughout the years. Just, now it's on you to put in that effort. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now it's on you to see what you're going to do next. Leave that up there for a second. And actually, I think that's kind of good on screen. I think we're able to make enough sense of that together. So the next one that I'm going to do would be the UPK salute for the sisters. So just kind of a different, I won't say even different concept or intention in mind. But a different approach. Leave that up there for another minute. After I make the blurry screen unblurry again. That's slick. Hey, listen, shout out to ISUPK for the headpieces too. Like the one that I'm wearing right now, it's very simple, very kind of basic, but it's clean, man. I don't know, like I was just looking at myself in the mirror, like I don't know if y'all can see this, how close I gotta get. I'm looking at myself on the computer too, but don't mind the rest of this. Just focus, focus. The lettering, like this is just like a kind of a basic like template, like. And you got to feel the material too. The material that he picked out, this gray, whatever the hell this is comfortable as hell. And I believe this is leather on top. Something to check out though, man. Listen, ISUPK, man. Get in touch with UPK Milwaukee. Get in touch with UPK Milwaukee. It's a conversation worth having. And not just headpieces too. You got the armbands, you got the garments. Like it's because we care. It's because we care. And the whole nation cares. You got Captain Kapash, you got other one Hazahab out there, you got Captain Garwap out there, man. Damn, Salaki. Ashagapan. Like they pushing these gauntlets. It's a conversation worth having. You should definitely look into it. Leave that up there for just another little bit. And then we'll move on to the salute for the sisters. So now this is how brothers would salute brothers. The way that brothers would salute sisters is going to be the next one that we would do. And then that's the same way that sisters would salute sisters. And that's the same way that sisters would salute brothers in turn. It's a beautiful language. Where when you start doing the history and the study of it, it's something else. It really is something else. And they try to take this from us. We're not going to give it back. Now that we came back to this, listen, we're not giving it back. They don't get to have this no more. This is us. It's way too late. Oh, shit, man. It's way too late. We already, listen, there's too many brothers. Way too many brothers that are dedicated. That would never let this go. Never again. Never again. That's why we're in the predicament that we are today. Because, we did let it go. We compromised. That's what the Maccabee brothers. That's what they messed up, man. They had the best intentions. But they, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into that story real soon. That's coming up December 7th. December 7th. Get ready. And it's going on for 8 days. Come on, man. Going for a good cause. Take this down. So, similar starting point. Don't feel bad. So, similar starting point with shalom. I feel like that got small on me. All right. Shalom. Yeah, how? That got weird. Sham. Yeah, so now this is the other part. So this would be the singular that we just went over, and it's like singular neutral. Singular, or it's like plural, feminine, going to be a thun. So before we saw a thumb for the plural masculine form of it. A thun is the plural feminine aspect. Right? A thun. Now translating this. What do we do? So again, peace. Peace. Trying to show peace to the brothers and the sisters. As if they not stressed out too. Like they couldn't use a little bit of peace, especially from the brothers too. Trying to press up on them all the time. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with trying to, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. But if she ain't feeling it, fall back. And again, in this day and age, the stress that our sisters are under, it makes them agitated. It makes them very short for conversation. A lot of times, it messes all of us up. Like the brother just trying to get straight to the point. The sisters ain't even really trying to hear nothing. And if you're doing it right, like we can build. This is again how we build families, how we build communities. You got to be around to check it out for yourself in person. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just showing that though. Peace. And again, the Most High. The Most High. Shamar. Now this is watch. Shamar is watch. I over. So now that I, again, think it was last week or maybe the week before, where we were talking about that vowel kind of pronunciation of it. You got the ah, you got the I, or I. It's like I was accidentally putting that in there with the pronunciation. You got the you got the I. It still starts off with that. Ah, I, I. But again, we don't have vowels. Not to say this is technically like a consonant, just it's not the way that the devil had broke up his language to try to make sense of our culture in our language, in their culture, their paradigm, like the way that they try to infuse it and make it make sense just made it more confusing. So again, the white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. So let's just continue. So now again, this is singular, and that's gender neutral, and there's only two genders. There's only two genders, but this that's gender neutral, most of the time. If I was talking to a brother and I were to say atha brakatha to you, that doesn't mean that atha is masculine, but I'm talking to a man. So in a sense, I guess that makes it masculine just in that context, in that sentence. But just that word itself, that's like gender neutral, that's kind of even keeled. There's only two genders. That's it. It's not like 80 genders neutral. That doesn't exist. That's not a real thing. There's only two genders. This is still also you. But again, imagine you're speaking to a crowd. But now this is plural. And it's feminine. It's feminine plural. Let's see how we can write that out later. No sweat. Basham. Now, so we went through this earlier in the name of, just again, bridge that gap. It's if we did not include that and we were just to say the greeting, it would just sound weird in English if we didn't have that in there. So that's just a filler. That don't really mean nothing, but it's a filler, and we get the context of what it's like trying to address of, because we're doing this in the name of our King. Which means Savior. We'll probably skip these. Well, no, I guess we're already here. We might as well. Yeah. Shalom Yahweh. Shalom Yahweh. Shema Shem Yahweh. All right. Slovakia. No sweat. Set that down somewhere. So again, shalom. I already started off. Let's show the comparison between the Paleo and the Assyrian. Let's go. A little cartoonish. Like that. that's better. So now again in the paleo, all right. So like the connectors, the independent connectors and the multiple connectors, it's gonna be the same way. If I were to do it here, it would be the same application here. But because we normally try to focus on identifying our the root of our language and writing system, our speaking and writing system, it's important to try to highlight this. But everything that we do here, you would apply here for the pronunciation. Otherwise, again, there's gonna be dots all over the place, and the little like whatever the hell's. I don't know enough. I don't know enough about them to see where they came up with that because they don't want to talk to me about this. We'll get them on the phone sooner or later. But shalom, it'd be the same thing here. Shalom, be the same thing. All right, so Mosai, Yahweh. Yahweh. Yeah. Ha. Not quite. Move this down a little bit. Yahweh. Wow, you really mixed. I really mixed that together, didn't I? Let's try this again, real quick. Yahweh, Yahweh. Now we got that cleared up. Shamar, watch. Shamar. And again, it would be the same thing here. Just normally in the Assyrian, we don't add the connectors. It's mainly for the paleo. But again, as you build up stronger with this, you're going to start seeing kind of like the patterns within the linguistics to see what stands alone, what gets pronounced together. Yahweh. That's still Yahweh. Still the same thing. Shema, watch. Over. This would have been connected. Otherwise, it would have been Allah. It would look like, Allah. And I'm doing that kind of backwards, but how it's written out here could have kind of been the other way. Those children connected. Bahasham. Shum. And I think maybe we'll do it down here. Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but essentially you're going to see what that is. Shum. Yahusha. Yahawasha. All right, so that caps that off for the greetings that brothers would do for the sisters, the way that sisters would greet each other, the way that sisters would greet brothers. So shalom, Yahweh Shema la Taba Shem Yahushai. Or if you're speaking to a group, so I should put this down too. Thumb. Do that again. So the plural feminine with that na at the end of it. That na at the end of it. And again, in the Assyrian, you're going to know what stance it takes, looking at the height of the different characters around it. And these are only going to pop up at the end of the word. In the middle of the word, in the beginning of the word, it'll take on its normal character. At the end of the word, though, it does take on something else. So something just to watch out for. You got the wa, or the na here. That's going to be isolated for a while. The same thing with I. Could be isolated, or isolated. Well, no, it's like that one's alright. All right, so, but these are the greetings that we would say to the sisters, that sisters would say to each other, that sisters would say to the brothers, if permissible. And then even in general, like after we've gotten past those like 90 days on one side or the other, you've got a little bit more free reign of, dealing with people. But make sure that you're in contact with, especially if you're a sister, a young man, make sure that you're in contact with the brother that's over your school, just to make sure that you are sincerely following protocols and not taking for granted, the efforts that other people put in. so that you can have this knowledge. We'll leave that up there for a little bit. Just another second or two, really. We'll give it another 30 seconds to a minute just to kind of copy it down and look at the implication again of it. Because this is repetitive in itself of how we had greeted men. Everything we do is with the authority of the Most High in the name of our King, who the Most High set up to be king. So like we're not worshiping Yahushua, but we definitely show appreciation for the standard that he had set and the lengths that he had gone into to preserve our culture and our way of life, the sacrifices that he had made to make all this possible. And we definitely would not be here without our king making that sacrifice for his people. Name other kings who've done the same thing. I'm not a history buff. Maybe there's like a million of them out there that have died to protect their people. This is the greatest story of all time. This is the only brother who legitimately backs that claim. Where's everybody else at? I'm saying, 1 West 125th Street, all in New York, like that's not enough. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Louis, Kansas City, Chicago, Gary, I don't know, like Indianapolis, like what's up? Like that's not enough. Like you can just like that terrorist, that damn terrorist devil dog, Palestinian woman who had seen the shield. All right, I'm just gonna trust that everybody got this, and again we're gonna go over it more and more, but just keep these as your notes. So, old girl who had, how would you say, attempted unaliving, I guess, on the school UPK in the hood, where she does not frequent. Like if you were to see this lady, you would know that that's not her neck of the woods. That wasn't her. So what the hell was she doing there after hours? Good night. Like that's the other crazy part, man. It was after hours. And it wasn't her first time, I guess. But now she's gonna try to say, honestly, I'm just gonna wait for the trial. Oh, damn, when is it? November 18th, I think. I think it's going down Monday where Kat had sent out a link. Yeah, some sellout Uncle Tom ass brother. Lord be with him and his family. But he had made some claims that is going to be addressed. I don't want to paraphrase too much because that would be lame. So I will end you with a shalom to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Latah Salaki. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shabbat to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Lathan Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Join us next week, and we might get into this a little bit deeper. But we're going to start trying to show like the intentions and characteristics of the characters that we're using to build up words, to build up names. And that's going to start making a lot more sense as to how we move like this. But I want you to get familiar with, the Table of Nations, the tribes of Israel, how to salute and greet each other. It's important to show that level of compassion and consideration and understanding, you know what I'm saying? Like, understand, like, listen, niggas lose their job every day. Don't nobody, like they're not always out there trying to shoot the block up, though, just because they had a bad day. But then you have a wrong conversation with them. You just met them under the wrong context, under the wrong preposition. Like, they was already geared towards violence. And now, because, again, you can't be a punk, so now you with the shit. It's like you was just heading over. No, you just heading like to McDonald's to grab you a sandwich, and now it turns into something more like this. So like again, these prayers, for the purpose of showing brothers and sisters that are new to the school our intentions as a people, as a nation, and to again try to just bridge that gap between the different generations, their issues and ours, because they're going through something a little bit different. We had to go through 1, 2, 3, and 4 years old of age, and the 7 and 10 years old, and 12 and 15 years old. We had to go through that. So like they think they're being geniuses, but hey, listen, God, most I love them. Most I love them. Lord be with them. They dumb as hell. They dumb as hell. Can't get nothing by us. We had to go through that to get to where we are already. They can't get nothing by us. They dumb as hell. Nice try. So the importance of the LASHAWAN QADASH, the history classes, the brotherhood classes, the scripture breakdown classes, the law classes, is to have a better understanding of our culture, our people, and what our expected way of life is to be. Like, how do we start? How do we get so far from home? How can we bring this back into control? The answers, a lot of people ain't gonna like it, but that's why we have classes. That's why you can interact with us any day, anytime, if needed, and and now you can like for real start saving your money for the Lord's 55th annual Passover, Durham, North Carolina. Pay your tithes, pay your camp fees, pay your Passover fees. $200 per adult. That means any brother sister that's 17 or older, $200. If you got a little bit extra that you can kick in, nobody's gonna stop you. And just make sure you put a note on there. I sent like $1 million, and 200 of it was for our Passover fees, and then the rest of that joint is for I don't know, biscuits and gravy. It's or Alfredo, chicken Alfredo. Shout out to my rib, chicken Alfredo. Yeah. Um. So with that, we're gonna leave you to it. Shalom, Israel, Yahweh Bashem Shabbat to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar, Atam Bashem, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. We'll see you next week, next Friday. Pay your tithes, man. Get ready for that. Get ready for that Lord's Passover, man. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you soon. Shalom.